Now, we're diving into a topic that's been making waves across the UK: Sadiq Khan and the cannabis decriminalisation debate. This is a full breakdown of what's going on, why it matters, and where things might be headed. So grab a drink, settle in, and let's unpack this together. Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London, has really stirred things up by pushing for a public health-focused approach to how we handle cannabis enforcement. Back in 2022, he kicked things off by launching the London Drugs Commission to take a hard look at the UK's drug laws. Fast forward to 2025, and the Commission came back with a bold recommendation: possession of small amounts of natural cannabis for personal use should no longer be a criminal offense. Khan's fully on board with this, and he's not just winging it. He's pointing to expert research, harm reduction, and fairness as the backbone of his stance. It's a big move, and it's got the whole country talking. Now, Khan doesn't have the power to change national laws. That's Parliament's job. But he's not sitting idle. His administration has rolled out a pilot diversion scheme in 3 London boroughs: Lewisham, Bexley, and Greenwich. The idea here is to steer 18 to 24-year-olds caught with cannabis away from arrests and into education or counseling instead. The goal? To keep young people from getting saddled with life-altering criminal records and to build better trust between communities and the police. The data's clear. Young Black Londoners are hit hardest by cannabis enforcement, often despite using it at similar rates to others. Khan's argument is straightforward. Why waste resources prosecuting minor possession when we could be focusing on serious crime? But not everyone's on board, far from it. The Conservative government, including heavyweights like Priti Patel and Chris Philp, have pushed back hard. Philp, in particular, has warned that Khan's approach could turn London into crime-ridden neighborhoods, drawing comparisons to some US cities he claims have been hurt by softer drug policies. Even Labour leader Keir Starmer, who you might think would be more open given his background as a prosecutor, has come out against legal reform. Then there's Police Commissioner Sir Mark Rowley, who's made it clear that drugs fuel serious crime, and that big policy calls like this belong to Parliament, not the Mayor's office. The Met Police and rank-and-file officers are also holding firm, stressing that drug dealing is still a massive threat. The community's response is a mixed bag. On one side, you've got drug policy reformers and even some police veterans like Brian Paddock backing Khan. They argue that chasing small-time cannabis users is a waste of police time and that the current approach leads to disproportionate arrests. But on the other hand, you've got parents of addicts and anti-drug campaigners who worry that any softening of the rules sends the wrong message to kids and communities. Still, it's worth noting that a 2022 poll showed 63% of Londoners actually support Khan's pilot scheme, so there's clearly some public appetite for change. Some critics have tried to spin this as Khan playing favorites with certain communities. Let's be clear. Khan's been upfront about the racial disparities in enforcement, but his stance is rooted in hard data, not ethnic or religious bias. He's a Muslim, sure, but he's barely mentioned faith in this debate. His pitch is entirely secular, focused on fairness, public safety, and smarter policing. This isn't about picking sides. It's about what the numbers show. Here's the reality. Cannabis is still a Class B drug in the UK, and most enforcement targets possession, even though it's widely used. Proponents of decriminalisation say it would take pressure off the courts and make policing more efficient. But critics aren't convinced. They're worried it could boost the black market, fuel gang violence, or lead to public disorder. There's also real concern about mental health risks, especially for young users. That said, evidence from places like Portugal, where health-based approaches have been tried, suggests that focusing on harm reduction can actually work better than locking people up. Khan's powers are limited. He can't rewrite the law, but he's definitely shaking up the conversation. With over 2.6 million cannabis users in the UK, this isn't some fringe issue. It's part of our reality. The question isn't whether we should condone cannabis use, but how we manage it. Khan's argument is that criminalizing small-time users does more harm than good. His opponents, though, are sounding the alarm about unintended consequences. It's a classic clash. Reformist pragmatism versus conservative caution, with London right at the heart of it. So what's next? The outcome of Khan's pilot scheme and how politicians react to it could set the tone for Britain's drug policy moving forward. For now, Khan's sticking to his guns, calling for change that's grounded in data, equity, and long-term impact, not just chasing headlines or playing on fear. It's a bold stance, and it's got people on both sides fired up.